This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
Hello to everyone. This is Reds Down Under, and this is the weekly show. I'm Tom, and with us I've got Max, who's in Newcastle, Australia, obviously. Max, how you doing, mate? How are you?
Good. I'm raring to go, fully energized for my trip, ready for the next season.
Yeah, well, don't brag about the trip. Max has just came back from the UK to watch the trophy parade and everything. We will obviously talk about it because I'm desperate to hear all about it. Max is on. He's been on a few times, Max, and he's a great lad. So I'm looking forward to hear from him on lots of things. The trophy parade is one of them. Wirtz signing, which is absolutely huge news, I think. Florian Wirtz, really interested to see what Max thinks about that. There's other transfer stuff going on as well. Kwanzaa might be going to Leverkusen. Kirkes maybe looks done. Gahey from Crystal Palace could be another potential incoming. And a whole host of strikers, Max, which it's hard to sort of work out what's real and what's not. Before we get into it, Max, behind me, I've got a shirt. We've been running a shirt giveaway on Reds Down Under, and it's this. If you're on
That's
YouTube,
hot.
you can see this. If you're on Spotify, you can't. But I'm sure you've seen it anyway. If you listen to the podcast, I'm sure you have seen this at some point. It's the 2008-2009 signed home shirt by Torres, Gerrard, Carragher, and Mascherano. I'll open it. It's just gorgeous. It's nice, isn't it, Max?
Oh, it's beautiful. Who was the lucky
It's
winner
nice.
for that?
It's nice. It's a guy called Milan.
Milan Baroš?
No, it's not. But his name is Milan Bacic. I think it's Bacic. I think it's Croatian.
Ooh.
But he's buzzing. I sent him a message the other day to tell him he'd won. And he said that he just booked his first ever trip to Liverpool to watch the Merseyside derby, and he's won
nice.
the shirt in the same week. So, buzzing.
When it rains, it pours.
Absolutely beautiful, innit? He's made up. Talking of the Merseyside derby,
Where was he from?
He's from Sydney.
Oh, right.
He's not too far away from me in Sydney, so I'm gonna go and drop it off.
Okay.
Save me a bit of money on the postage. You know what I mean, Max?
Save every penny.
Save every penny.
Sa-
Save every
save
penny.
Save it for the cheese bar.
Yeah, save it for Cheers Bar, exactly. Cheers Bar don't know what's going to hit them this year because I'm going to be there every week if I can. So, talking of fixtures, we will talk about the new fixtures which have just came out as well for the season. Be interested to see what Max thinks of those because I think they're really challenging, actually. And then later in the show, we'll be talking about memorable goals. We sent out on Instagram and Facebook asking you what memorable goals stand out from watching the Reds. Goals for Liverpool and goals for the opposition. So there's a couple in there. Which
I can
will
think of a few.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking two, right? Which will remind you of heartache.
Ones that actually pissed me off more than anything.
Yeah. Especially for Reds who watched Liverpool in the 90s. I'm sure you could come up with a few. Eric Cantona's FA Cup final goal, which was the shittest goal ever at Wembley. Which was in 96, I think. I'm sure that one stands out. To fellas like me, our fella, who were watching the Reds in the 90s. All right, Max. I mean, look, let's talk about your trip, mate, to Liverpool. You were there, and you were sending through content as well, mate, and we were posting it on our social media.
Yep.
We spoke to
Tried the
trying
centric
to.
content.
Yeah. We had Jed on the other week from Brisbane.
Oh,
He,
what a show! I thought I had the best life over there. He's tops it,
yeah,
kicking
Jed
around the
has a
ball on the
good.
Anfield, black
Yeah,
tie dinner.
yeah, I
Jeez.
know. Yeah, Jed's on the inside track, isn't he?
He is. He is.
Yeah, we need to work out how to get on that inside track a bit, don't we?
We all move up to Brisbane and go hang
Yeah,
with him.
yeah. But he's a class fella. He's a class
Yep.
fella. You were over there as well. You had a different time of it, but so when Jed was sort of, he was sending me content through as well. He was on a lot more of the sort of the official club side of things. You know, he was doing like official club dinners,
Yep.
and he was in with the club and stuff like that.
Yep.
You were busy, don't get me wrong, but you were busy in a different way, mate. You had loads to do. Like, what were the highlights? You
Yeah.
went to like the boss night and everything, didn't you?
Yeah. So I kind of just sort of roughed it, and when the events come out week by week, I was just booking whatever come out in advance, and just I'll go that, and kind of overbooked my whole trip. So I was kind of flat chat all the time. Like the first 5 days was just a whirlwind, and just didn't have time to eat. The missus had to remind me, like, drink a bottle of water while I'm over there, because all I did was drink, drink beer, cider, maybe had a bit of food, but yeah, just living on an alcohol diet over there for the first 5 days. So the first day, what did we do? Got off the plane, went straight to the classic football shirt shop in Manchester. That's always the first stop. Need to stock up on kits, and as you do, come across this beauty. How could I say
Yeah.
no?
So tell us about that shirt, right? Because people who are watching this on YouTube can obviously see it. It's grey. It's grey Adidas away shirt with the Adidas pinstripes on the side and like a checker, like a
Yep,
checker
checker
style
grey.
on the
Yeah,
front.
yep.
What year is that from?
So it looks like 08, 09. So everyone mostly remembers it from when Liverpool played Manchester and Torres and Gerrard just battered them all game. Um, Everyone remembers the Torres goal when he was sort of tussling with Vidic, and we all know how much of a gun Vidic was back in the day, and Torres made him look like a school kid. And then also Gerrard in the celebrations kissing the camera. So that's where the grey jersey, I think most supporters would recognise it from.
Yeah.
Um,
And I tell you
funny.
what as well, sorry, before you
Yep,
move on, that Andrea Dossena
free
goal as
kick.
well. No, well, Aurelio scored the free kick. Aurelio scored the free
Yes,
kick from the
yes.
red card, I think. And then Pepe Reina launched the ball forward late on, and Dossena lobbed Edwin van der Sar.
Yep,
Great goal.
yep.
Loved it.
Uh,
Loved
any
it.
win against any game against Manchester United is a good game most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, funny story is, like, we're at the shirt shop. I go to buy this shirt, go to look for my wallet, can't find it anywhere. So here's me having a panic attack in the
I didn't
in
have
the
it. If that's what you're saying, I didn't have it.
in the
What are you
shopping,
saying? Yeah, go on.
rip my bag apart, rip the suitcase apart, cannot find my wallet. I'm thinking, fuck, I cannot lose my wallet in the first hour of this trip. I'll be screwed. But luckily, I had an air tag in my wallet, so I rang the missus straight away and said, "Where's my air tag pinging?" She's like, "It's pinging in the middle of the street." And I'm thinking, I've dropped it. I've gone outside, can't find it. Thinking, fuck, someone's flogged it and chucked my wallet somewhere. So Ray runs across the road to the cafe we're just at, and they check the cameras, and they're like, "You put it on top of your backpack." And I was like, "Where could it be?" And there it was, in the side pocket of the backpack. Just could not feel it. I was like, "Fucking hell!"
You
The
never know
wife
in
was
Manchester, though. You
the
know,
wife was the wife was fuming. She
if
goes,
you lose
"How?"
your wallet abroad, mate,
Yeah, you
yeah,
trip
you're in
free.
trouble. No, fucking, you're in trouble, aren't you, if you lose your thing? So anyway, the
Oh,
missus knew where it was.
well, kinda. It wasn't that accurate, the GPS. But yeah, I
And
would just
that,
had the money transferred straight to Ray. Just cancelled all my accounts and just would have went cash over there. But I was like,
but
nah,
you,
this is a good start. This is a good start to the trip.
yeah, and you got your shirt.
Got the shirt in the end, so that's all that matters. Trip was over,
How
done.
how much
Straight back on the plane home.
how much did your shirt cost?
Just over $200, which is pretty good considering how
It's
old the
not bad.
jersey is, and with Gerard on the back as well. Like, how can you say no?
Yeah, and I
Like,
think it was prime Gerard as well. I think.
it was, because
Yeah,
even we'll talk about the goals later on in the show. There's quite a few Gerard goals that stand out, and no wonder he's my
yeah.
fave.
There's gonna be a few, isn't there?
So
All right.
after,
What about events then? What
um,
was your favourite event?
I'd probably say the Red Weekender, um,
Yeah.
with Redman TV and the Anfield Wrap. It was a shame I couldn't get to there on the first night because I had Box Park on Friday night, which was that was a bit disappointing. It's just most of the fans there were quite drunk, and like even like the guest speakers, you could tell they didn't really want to be there. They just couldn't speak properly
Uh,
because the crowd was just too rowdy. So that was a bit of a disappointment that night.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I'd rather have went to that Benitez 20th anniversary show instead. That was part of the Red Weekender.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice. They had the trophy, didn't they?
mm, mm.
They had the European
But
Cup there.
but like listening to Redman TV, like I've been watching them for years, and they were great on stage. I think Kenny
Mm.
Dalglish and his family were on stage with the Family Fortune game show. So even to breathe the same air as Kenny Dalglish is a highlight.
Yeah.
And then the Anfield Wrap over at the auditorium, that was a good show also. But I was in the
Mm.
second row, and I was that tired. I was thinking these guys are going to point me out because I'm falling asleep. And yep, numerous times they looked at me and went, "Shit, they're going to point me out, and make a fool of me." But
You
no,
know what though, Max? It's hard in Liverpool to get kicked out of a pub. Like it's different. It's different over here. But
yeah,
our Jack will tell you, like the amount of times you've been hammered in a pub and the bouncers came over and basically like propped you up and then gone, "You all right, mate?" And you go, "Yeah, all right, mate." And he goes, "All right," and he walks away. Um, all right, trophy parade day, mate. That looked. You had one of the best vantage points in the city, I think.
yeah. So in advance, I was looking at just locations where the street parade would be, and obviously the Travel Lodge there on the Strand was the perfect location. Never been there. People said, "Oh, Travel Lodge is okay." But as soon as I got there, like you walk in, and on the second level's reception, and just a bar that goes across the whole building. So second level overlooking the Strand. You couldn't get any better than that. Um, so on that day, I was trying to get that banner up, the Oligard one, and there was a spot
Yeah,
right next to.
such a
There's a,
good
there's a
banner,
spot.
man.
There was a spot right next to the Strand where I wanted it, but when I got there, there was just full of the young ones there. I even offered them £50 each just to not touch the flag, and they're just like, "Nah, not happening." It's like, you know what? I'll give these guys £100, and they'll just run off the money and run off the flag. Being Liverpool,
Yeah,
that's what they probably do.
yeah, it's
So,
true. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
and there was another, and where they had the big sign where it says "We're never going to stop." There's a big ledge there, so I climbed up on that. I thought I could hang it off here. I'll just sit on the flag. A few of us will sit on the flag, and that way you have a good shot. So I climbed up on the ledge. As soon as I got there and looked to the side, it's like that's a three-story drop. I'm not going to kill
Yeah.
myself just for a flag.
Not for a
Sorry,
banner, no.
I'm not committed enough. But
Yeah.
Ray was like, "I've got a photo of you up there on the ledge." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and he goes, and I come back half an hour later, and he goes, "Couldn't find you." He goes, I thought, "Fuck, is he fallen and killed him? Killed him?" And I was like,
Oh, Ray.
but you know what? I go into the hotel, like literally probably an hour or two later, when he took that photo. And there they are at the bar, and he goes, "Oh, I thought you were dead." It's like, "Oh fuck, you look worried." The party continues.
Oh, he's still on the pitch, was he? Ray.
Yeah, of course. Like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
was so
good
worried
man.
about you." I was like, "Sure, you were." But
Nice
no,
fella, Ray.
because people were lined up for that parade from 9 a.m. Like those streets were packed,
Yeah.
and when most of those people had their spots camped out, so they've been drinking all day, and come like
Yeah.
midday, 1 o'clock, like people were just busting to go to the toilet 'cause they've been drinking all day. It was just
Mm.
chaos. Like people were trying to get in the hotels, which they all got refused entry. But like
Yeah.
I was lucky because I could go out in the parade. It's started a bit of rain, or had to go to the bathroom, or get something to eat, or get another beer. I could just go inside, stock up, go straight back outside.
Yeah.
So
No, you had it pretty spot on, mate, didn't you? To be fair, like.
I, yeah, it's probably the best kept secret for the street parade. Um, and even a lot of people, as soon as they heard that, they went, "Oh, how'd you get that? Like, you better check your booking and make sure they didn't cancel on you, because if you booked one night, there's possibly a chance they did cancel your booking." But because I stayed there the whole
Imagine.
8 nights, I think they're like, he's here for the long term, so we better keep him. But
But I bet there
when I was
was
at,
people, eh? I bet there was
yeah,
people who got
I bet
cancelled, yeah.
I bet you there was. Like when I was over there, I stayed with Ray's uncle Tony, who was a top bloke. He gave me a place to stay for the first couple of nights, and I told him and his family to come to the Strand and stay at the Travel Lodge, just use my room and go down to the bar, and that's what they did. And they said, that was the best experience. Like he's got like his granddaughter who was getting worried about the crowd because it was getting a bit rough and packed, and she was getting a bit anxious. But once I
Yeah.
was up in that hotel, time of their lives, they said, this is once in a lifetime experience. And they live in Liverpool. They said, to be
Yeah.
up there, up high, in safety, um, no, they're really, really appreciative of it. But even like on ground level, like, the time the bus come into the CBD was like around about 5:30, which is a fairly long day if you've been parked up since 9 a.m., 10 a.m., sitting in the street. And when the bus come through, it was just a big cloud of red smoke. Like you just think, where the fuck have all these flares come from? Like the flares are going off all day, and literally as soon as the bus come in, it's like everyone must have just had their spare flares ready to go. And it was just, yeah, the visibility was so poor, and people after the parade
Yeah.
just saying like how disappointed they were just because the
Yeah.
visibility and the red flares, and it's like, yeah, I can understand. Like you wait all that time for that, but
Yeah. You know what, mate? I seen I think it was the Anfield Rap talking about the flares, and I like I love a flare, me, no pie, no party and all that, but yeah, there's like a ratio of flares to people, and
yes,
what looks good. You know what I mean? Like
yep,
a flare every 1,000 people looks quite good,
yep,
but it too many flares, Like I watched it on the telly, and I was like, I couldn't see a fucking thing.
yep,
I couldn't see a
yep.
thing. So and yeah, so whether they're gonna tone it down, mate, I don't know. At least there wasn't any blue flares. At least there wasn't
No,
any blue
did
flares.
did not see one. But even like talking about
Yeah,
flares, and now I can see why people say flares are dangerous. So the cops are right over there about people not using flares. Like after the game, like when we are outside outside the ground, and people just do not know how to handle flares. Like I was watching a few young girls crack a flare like right in front of their chest and looking down at it and just ripping it and just straight up in their face. They just don't realise that it can burn you. Like there was one time someone was holding a flare and they just light it and they hold it over their head away from them, but they're not looking where they're holding that flare. There's one there where it spat all the
yeah.
plastic on me and it got me on the hand, which kind of hurt for a few days. And on top of the head, I was losing a bit of hair there. I was like, not my hair. But then there was but then there was a kid who had like a jersey melted on his back. Like,
Yeah, dangerous, man. They
yeah,
are dangerous, and obviously, they're for emergencies, like, you know what I mean. And
well,
people are going round with them. I'll be honest with you. If I
yep,
was there, I would have probably looked to get myself one.
yeah,
I
I've got a
would have.
couple over there. Or
I
you would have
would
made a
have done.
fortune over there. There was this just
Yeah,
kids going around on electric scooters. He's like, mate, you want some flares? And I'm like, how much? And he's like, oh, £10. And I was like, oh, I've only got a card on me. He's like, yeah, I've got a tap here. Just tap on this.
F F pass for the flares.
Airpods. Yep. those kids would have made a mozza that day.
Yeah,
But
well,
no,
good for them.
that's
Good for
right.
them. It shouldn't just be the club that makes money over these things, should it? Um,
Exactly. But
well, look,
yeah,
mate. I mean, we can talk forever about the things that you got up to there because, and maybe we'll come back to it another time, and I'll ask you a different set of questions because there's so much stuff that you can talk about. It is 4 weeks since Liverpool won the Premier League title, and the Reds are shaping up to be a completely different looking football side next year, Max. Wirtz has finally signed. It looks like it could be up to 116 million if all the add-ons happen, which
it's a
hopefully they
bargain.
do happen because it means that we've won some trophies. You think it's a bargain?
Yeah, considering Chelsea pay 100 for Casado, over 100 for Enzo, Arsenal pay over 100 for Rice, Man City paid 100 for Grealish. We're getting a German footballer like, player of the year twice, 2 years running, like, and come down the track if he ever decides to leave, I'm sure we'll get our money back plus more. Like, I don't think we can lose out on this
I think
on
I
this
think it's
deal.
I think it's an interesting one because, as you say, Caicedo, 100 million was it?
Yeah,
110,
yep,
110 million to Chelsea. A good player, proven in the Premier League, but playing for Brighton. You know what I mean? So he's never had to challenge for a major honour. Um, Jack Grealish was playing for Aston Villa, and let's be honest, that never worked out for Jack. By the way, he's not a bad player, Jack Grealish, and
if
he's
he
going
come
to
up
be
for
going
50
to.
mil, you'd say, yeah, take a stab at him.
Mate, someone's going to pick him up for 30 million.
Yep,
Someone's going to pick him up for 30 million. I can see it happening.
man,
He's
you will
not
pick
a
him up for
bad
70 mil.
he's not a bad player. He's a good footballer. It just didn't quite happen there at Manchester City because at Manchester City you've got to produce every week.
That's right.
Um, but he can go somewhere and be successful. If you put him back in that Villa side, for example,
Yep,
Rashford's gone now. There's a little bit of a space on the left again there at Villa. He could go back to Villa and he could do really well in that Villa team under Emery. Um, Declan Rice, okay, had won the Conference League at West Ham, so you could argue, he was a winner at that level. Um, Enzo won the World Cup at Argentina, but he was playing for Benfica at the time.
yeah,
I think
yep.
with Wirtz, what we've signed is, as you say, German Footballer of the Year. He's done it in the Bundesliga. He's been the best player in a Leverkusen team that went and beat Bayern Munich to the title. And he's done it in the Champions League as well.
That's right.
So, this is a player who's got it. Like, I just can't wait to see him. I think
You
he's
know,
gonna be amazing. I
the
think
fact
he's
that
gonna be amazing.
Man City and Bayern were after him. I think Real Madrid would have been after him, but he's not coming on free, so they probably couldn't go for him.
Yeah,
I'm sure Alonso would have wanted him.
yeah,
Um, well, I'll just have to wait another 4 years and hopefully get him on a free agent.
yeah. Well, you know
But
what? I mean, he's. I think he is genuinely a player who anyone would have liked to have signed.
yeah,
And the fact that we've got him is unbelievable. And
even on that wage, like when they said like 200,000, it's like, oh, really? I thought it'd be way more than that.
that is an absolute bargain.
Yeah,
It like when you're talking about a player who could be a difference maker, 200 grand a week is really doable.
yep.
You know what I mean?
And
It's
there's room there for a contract upgrade too, if he kills it.
oh yeah. I
Yep.
mean, I haven't seen his contract, Max, but I'm sure he's got goal and assist bonuses in there. He's got, if Liverpool win the Premier League, he gets a bonus. Champions League, he gets a bonus. Like, I'm sure if he performs at the level he's expecting to perform, I'm sure he won't be on 200 grand a week.
Yeah. Yep.
But it'll be really interesting to see how he fits in because, you know, I think
Sobbo's the victim in that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, what do you do? Do you think that'll be literally he'll be taking Sobbo's line's position, or do you think that maybe there's an opportunity for Wirtz to take up a different position there?
I think, yeah, Sobbo's the victim, but then I don't know if they'll just make Sobbo play a bit deeper and then sort of take the pressure off Macca a bit. And that way Macca can sort of take over Gravenberg's position a bit more and kind of rest Gravenberg. So it might work a bit better. Like, all those three might get rested a bit more and rotated. It probably pushes Curtis Jones even further down the pecking list. But yeah, if it all depends on the outgoings as well. Like, if Diaz goes, and if Diaz has been playing that false nine, you could see Wirtz playing that false nine as well. But no, it'd be interesting. It'll just be the outgoings now and see how it all fits in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, talking about goings, mate, I mean, we talked last week about Kirkes coming in with Wayne and how that looks, you know, how that's moving, and it does look like Andy Robertson might be on his way to Atletico Madrid, which I think is a great move for him. I think it would be a shame for him to leave and not get a big send off, really. You know, if he was going to be leaving, it would have been nice for us to know he was going to be leaving for his last game.
Would you be happy with Tsimikas as your backup though?
Um,
I feel like Robbo offers just so much more in terms of backup. Like, I think, you know, we just keep him for 1 year. What's 10 million to us? Nothing. That's what we paid for him. And just his experience and a fit Robbo over the next season. Knowing that he's probably going to win some trophies as well. I think, you know, get rid of Tsimikas, get our money back, keep Robbo for 1 more year. Then we can probably look at the next upcoming left back, or Scanlon, or is it Beck? Whoever the one that was on a line at Blackburn. I think he had a good season. I think Blackburn finished 7th in the championship. So we probably have to look towards the future there. But I don't think Tsimikas is the future either.
No, I agree, mate. I don't think Tsimikas is the future at all. I think he's a good squad player. I think, you know, he can come in. He's got real moments of quality with that left foot of his. I
feel the drop off's just too big with Tsimikas.
Yeah, it's a big drop off. But, you know, if I think, obviously having Andy Robertson as your backup left back, you're going to be stronger than Tsimikas.
Yep.
But
or even if Tsimikas not Tsimikas, if Kirkes got injured, then the drop off wouldn't be so great. And it's like, you've got Robbo, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, that's true. But like this season, if Robbo got injured, you would have Tsimikas, and the difference wouldn't be that big because Robbo's performances have dropped off as well.
Yeah. But I think that's because he's just overworked.
He might be, but it's not going to get better next year.
No,
it's not going to get better. Sort of like, you know, if
Kirkes just smashes it for 70 minutes and then Robbo comes on for the final 20, you'll probably get a good 20 minutes out of Robbo. Whereas with Tsimikas, you probably get a good 20 minutes out of Tsimikas with a mistake possibly leading to a goal.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Robbo would be the better option because I think there would also be some games where you'd be like, we want Robbo in there tonight. You know, big Champions League games and stuff. You might say,
yep,
we're gonna put Robbo in there tonight. But as well, I think the club obviously believe that this Kirkes is going to be the kid. He's going to be the left back. So I think it's important as well that they sort of open it up as well, and give him the opportunity to be the main man at left back.
Yep.
Kwanzaa, mate, it looks like he's gone, isn't he? It looks like a £35 million to Leverkusen. Where do you stand on that, mate?
I think I looked just before I come on, and I think it's pretty done deal. It was on Sky Sports. Shame to lose him, but they're selling for 35 mil. Oh, Richard Hughes, take a bow.
It's pretty good money. It's pretty
It
good
is.
money, isn't it?
And with a buyback clause as well. The chance for him to go abroad, develop in a team that's competing for the league, get the Champions League exposure as well. Then in 2 or 3 years' time, we possibly will be looking for another centre back, and him being a homegrown option, he should be considered. And really, if we say the buyback clause is say 60 million or around that, really we spent 20 million on his growth, which is pretty good investment, I think. Because his development's only being hindered whilst at Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's obviously a player who's got loads of quality. The rumour, obviously, of Mark Gahey coming in is, he's obviously got a lot of quality. Gahey, I don't know how big a quality jump it is from him from Kwanzaa to Gahey.
Yeah.
I don't know how big that gap is. Gahey is though comfortable in a back three, which could potentially open up, to, Liverpool changing formation. But I'm interested to see it. And as it stands, mate, is this the best transfer window we've ever seen?
The year we got Sabos, Maka, Gravenberg, that was pretty good. But also that was sort of more or less dipping in the unknown there. Whereas, we made the biggest signing, Kirkes, Frimpong. It can only get better. Like once again, it all depends on the outgoings, which will probably dictate our incomings for a striker as well. It'll be interesting to see what they do with our strikers. And I wouldn't know who to pick at this moment because it has to sort of make sense. And we've got to sort of watch that homegrown quota as well. And that's where I think Mark Gay probably does make a bit more sense. I just don't watch enough of Crystal Palace to even know how good he is.
Yeah.
Like, I know, towards last year, Crystal Palace were playing good football, but I think it was more or less a striker stepping up and slotting some key goals.
Yeah, and they had that Muniz at right back, didn't he? He was doing a cracking job, wasn't he? Yeah, I mean, only time will tell, I guess, mate. Only time will tell on that one.
But I think we sort of have to take the risk on Mark Gay, though, because if Konate's not signing that contract, or contract extension, if he leaves for free next season, then we're scrambling for a centre back and probably paying over the odds because every team will know we're after one. So, if we get him now, it's like, well, Konate, if you want to stay, you can stay and become the big dog when Verge goes, and Mark Gay will become your new centre half partner.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Konate is, does Konate just want a contract that says he's one of the main men? His contract compared to, say, Virgil van Dijk will be a vast difference. Does he just want the money that says, I'm Virgil van Dijk's partner, defensive partner, I should be getting something like he gets?
Yep.
And when you think about it, that's fair enough. I think the club have really got to sort out the contract situations because, yes, you can't just pay anyone what they want contract-wise, but we can't be in a position where we just let players go for free again. We
That's right.
can't have that. We can't have it. So you're just hoping that they really sort of put their foot down and
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
um
Canado, show your commitment. Once Verge goes, then if you're dominating, you could possibly get his contract.
yeah,
But
exactly.
he's got to prove it. Like, he's also got to come up with some key goals as well. Verge gets some key goals. I can't remember the last goal Canate scored though.
Yeah.
If he scored,
He's I think he scored one or two league goals, and he scored in the FA Cup final semi final, FA Cup semi final against Manchester City, I think.
oh, okay.
Years ago. Years ago. Um, the year we won the FA Cup and the League Cup. Um, Look, more time will tell. Max, let's talk briefly about the fixture list that has came out. Obviously this week Liverpool start with a home game against Bournemouth. Then we play Newcastle away, Arsenal at home, Burnley away, Everton at home, and Crystal Palace away. What are your immediate thoughts on that list, mate?
6 wins from 6.
Yeah, go ahead, son. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm less confident about it, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. Oh,
Um
well, the Bournemouth game's a good game for us. Like, first game of the season for the EPL, and that'll be a Friday. I think that's a Friday morning game for us at 5 a.m. So as soon as
is
that's all
it?
that, I
The
believe
Bournemouth
so.
game?
Yeah, it'll either be
Well,
Friday 5 a.m. or
Saturday it's
Saturday
saying.
5 a.m. Okay.
Well, I don't think they've released the times at the minute, actually, mate.
Oh,
Sorry, that's my
jeez.
mistake. It doesn't
Great.
say. It doesn't say.
But yeah, because it's a
I think it's Saturday.
standalone game. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, yep, straight to the cafe. First game of the season for all the supporters. What a better way to kick off the season. Newcastle will
Yeah,
be tricky. Arsenal will be a good test early on, but I'd rather get that game over and done with early on. Um, and yeah, a Merseyside derby early on's good too. Hit them, hit them early, just to remind
yeah,
them that they're
yeah.
the poor man on Merseyside.
Yeah, yeah. The third team. I think Newcastle away is tough. It's sort of got echoes of that game we played a couple of years ago where Darwin Núñez came on and scored the two late
Yep,
goals. Not an easy place to go, Newcastle. But obviously you're hoping you've got 3 points after the first game there. Um, Arsenal at home. I think there's two ways of looking at that game. I think the first way is, well, you'd want them at home first. Go and get the 3 points, get the 3 points advantage. I think for me, I always look at the run-ins as the most important thing. I would rather play Arsenal in the running than in the
yep.
first six games. At Anfield for sure. But you know what? Either way, you've got to play everyone, haven't you?
That's right.
You've got to play everyone. Like,
It just depends on when you fix Champions League fixtures at the same time as well.
yeah,
Because say like if we make
yeah,
it deep into
exactly.
the Champions League next season, I think is it Chelsea, Man U in the last 5 weeks? Might be a Tottenham game there too. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, we've got Crystal Palace at Anfield, Man United away, Chelsea at Anfield, Villa away, which is tough, and then Brentford, who might only have half a team at this point, at Anfield.
Yep. And that's I mean, like, yeah. If you're a tight title run in and you'd be resting players, I think we're lucky this year. Like we got knocked out of the Champions League early. Like we could have been playing Arsenal 3 times in the space of 2 weeks,
Yeah,
um, and that could have made a hell of a difference.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I think most of our fixtures are quite well spread. Like some of the difficult teams, when we just don't have a tight bunch of close games or competitive games with competition. Um, no, I think we've got a good fixture list.
Um, all right, Maxi boy. We put up
Yep.
a post on social media asking for people's memorable goals, whether it was scored by a Liverpool player or against us. And we got loads of messages, to be fair. So I've got a selection here.
Yep.
So if your goal doesn't get read out, I am sorry. But there were so many. There was just literally so many. Max, let's start with you, mate. Let's hear some of your memorable goals.
So I didn't include any games from the 90s, goals from the 90s, because wasn't watching football back then.
Is
So
that because we were
I don't
shit
have
in the 90s?
no, it's because I wasn't interested in football. That's why. So,
Okay. All right.
um, so I just chose games that I actually watched live on TV. That way it has that kind of emotional connection and sticks with you for a bit. There was a few that stand out, like Garcia, Luis Garcia, like the Juve
Yeah.
quarter quarterfinal.
Oh,
That
one of the
stands
most underrated goals, I think.
And Buffon was in goals as well. Like you can't get any better than that.
Yeah, that was a cracking goal.
Yep.
That was a really good goal, and because the ball came into him, it sort of took a bounce, didn't it? And he hit it
Yeah.
after the bounce, and it sort of looped over.
Yep. Top corner. Is that? And even another Luis Garcia, the ghost goal for Chelsea game. And it's like every time you watch it
Yeah.
back, it's like I'm starting to think, yeah, it wasn't a goal. Like, yeah, everyone says it was a goal, but
I d-
yeah,
yeah, I don't think it was a goal.
yeah.
I don't think it
But
was a goal.
but it stands out because it was against
But
Chelsea, and fuck, I hate
you
Chelsea.
know, what? Fuck them. You know what I mean?
Uh,
They've had their ones on us, haven't they?
that's
You know what
right.
I mean? They've had their
Uh,
ones on us, so I'm not bothered.
exactly.
Whatever.
Um,
Yeah.
a few Origi goals stand out. Obviously, the one against Everton. Like I just remember watching that, and when Van Dijk takes that shot, and like he cracks his shits and turns his back, and Pickford saves it onto the bar again, and just the crowd goes wild. And like Origi,
Yeah. Well,
champ, Champions
you
League
know,
final clinches the game for us. Oh.
yeah. Beautiful Origi goal.
Um,
That was a great finish that by Divock Origi in that game.
the Everton game.
The final against Spurs, just a really good finish. Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like the technique was really good. The Everton game, I was in the cop. So if you watch the game back,
Yeah.
it does a close up of like the center of the goal, of like Pickford with his little arms, and Origi sort of does that little bend, doesn't he, where he bends and heads
Yep.
it in. And if you pause it at the right time, you can see me like celebrating
Oh,
in
nice.
the behind the goal. But the weird thing about it is, I can remember it when I think about it. I remember it happening,
Yep.
like
In slow motion.
Van Dijk hitting it up in the air and us all going, oh, and then it dropped, and it was like everyone like moved forward. It was like something could happen. But really, when I think about that goal, first off, I think about the TV camera angles. You know that camera angle where it shows you Ali plays it into Trent. He takes
Yep.
the quick free kick. That's always the angle I think about that goal. But I was there. But
Yep.
I think I've watched it so many times. You
There's
know, I've
the
forgotten
ne-
about it.
there's a few Torres goals that stand out. Against Arsenal, where he takes it on the half turn, smashes it.
Was that in the Champions League?
Yeah,
In the
2008 quarter final, I think.
I
He
think
just
it
takes it on the
was,
half turn and just anything on the half turn for Torres was a goal. And it's like, even that goal against
Yeah,
Blackburn in '09, where it comes over. I
great
think it was a long,
goal.
long ball from Carragher, takes it on the chest, and just volleys it across his
Mm.
body. And it's like, God.
And you know what I remember at that goal as well, because that was the time I basically started going the game, like sort of week in week out sort of thing.
Yep.
Um, the Torres one, I was there in that game. Um, I actually went to the away leg with my dad. We went to the away game, which was 1-1.
Yep.
At the Emirates, and I went to the home game. That was unbelievable. And Brian Babel scored the one to make it 4-2, I think. In that game, the Blackburn game, I think we just basically resigned the title to Man U in that game. I think we'd already lost the title,
Yep.
I think, in 2009, which was that home shirt, wasn't it? It was that one, wasn't it? He wore it. That was the kit, wasn't it? He
That was
scored
the kit.
in.
Yes. Yes, that kit. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, class.
Then obviously,
All right, what else have you?
Salah's goal against Man City, where he beats five of them. That was like prime
Yeah,
Salah.
very good goal. Yeah,
Becker scoring that
yeah.
header to get us to Champions League qualification. Like,
Well, it's
remember
funny
that
you
morning
say that
watching it.
because yeah, the Becker header. Because someone wrote in about that. Will in Queensland said the Alisson Becker goal to get us in the Champions League was a belter.
Yep. I bet you someone said
Your goal, he scored him.
I bet you someone said the Thiago goal against Porto, where he hits
No
it on
one
the
said it.
volley. It's like nearly one of the
No.
technically best goals you ever see. Like, it just centimeters above the ground. As soon as he left his foot, all the way back spin curve. Just
Sexy goal. Have you seen? I'm sure you've seen it. Someone's. I think maybe it was even like UEFA or Liverpool. Did an edit with it with what's his name, George Michael. The music in the background.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, with it super slow motion. What's that song? I can't. What's that song? I can't remember the song. Tonight the music play. Da 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 this way. Ba 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 da ba da ba ba ba. I can't. Jack knows. Jack loves George Michael. Anyway, I
That was some good
can't think of
singing.
it. One of the
But
best. Yeah, one of the best. Just absolute finishes.
but I think the
Um.
most memorable goal would be Stevie G, Middlesbrough, Olympiacos, and West Ham.
Oh yeah. Well, the
Like, I know.
Middlesbrough goal. Yeah, the Middlesbrough goal is a classic, isn't it?
Yep.
Just a regular Premier League game.
And just boom.
Boom. Yeah. Olympiacos. Yeah. Olympiacos was great.
I think
Because I think,
there's more emotion in that one go because we needed the win by 2 clear goals, I think. And when
yeah,
Rivaldo scores that, I think he scores a free kick.
yeah,
And then after half time, Jared has a shot from outside the box, and he actually scores, but it gets cancelled because of a handball from Barosh, I think. And you think, oh, okay,
I can't
it's
remember. I can't
it's
remember
gone
that.
it's gone against us. And then
Yeah,
yeah, and when Jared hits that, and just the commentator screaming, and yeah, it just sticks in your
yeah.
head.
Andy Gray.
Mhm.
Oh, you beauty! Yeah,
Uh,
brilliant. Absolutely loved it. And you know what as well? I think that goal was important because Rafa came in and the last couple of years under Houllier had been a bit dire, to be honest. That was like the first moment in a while where it was like, all right, we've got a chance here of doing something a bit interesting.
yeah,
The FA Cup final goal, just the best
The goals,
best moment.
the posts weren't even in the screen when he took the shot.
Yeah. Shaka Hislop in goal. Oh, Shaka. Cracking goal. Cracking goal. He couldn't have hit a football any better.
No.
Yeah.
What's your
It was
memorable goals?
exhausting, that game of football. It was exhausting. All right, well, I'll do mine.
Okay.
But Corey did mention that goal by Gerrard there. So I mean, I thought like people were like coming up with ones that I wanted to talk about. But they've already written them down. So I'll just shout out a couple of them goals actually. Yeah, Jimmy mentioned the FA Cup final as well. Josh in Sydney mentioned the Luis Suarez goal, where it was like a long ball, I think, by Luis Enrique against Newcastle. And Suarez has let it come over his shoulder and then controlled it and gone round the goalie
Yes.
and tapped it in.
Yep.
Unbelievable goal. Absolutely unbelievable goal.
Nearly Bergkamp like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and Bergkamp was brilliant, but Luis Suarez, mate, his touch was something else, wasn't it? What have we got here? John in Canberra says, hiya, John. How are you, mate? Raheem Sterling scored against City in 2014 in that big game. We beat them 3-2 at Anfield, and it was just mental. Like, he did that thing, he dropped like a fake, he dropped his shoulder and he faked, and then he put it in. Skirtle scored it against Arsenal a few weeks before in the 5-1 win at Anfield, which is absolutely fucking class. And then Mane's derby winner at Goodison Park in the 95th minute, where Daniel Sturridge hits it and it comes off the post, and Mane's the first man
Simple tapping
on the spot. Oh, simple tapping, but God, you got to be there, haven't you?
That's it.
And shout out as well, Jed, who was on the podcast last week, who's from Liverpool, lives in Brisbane. And my mum and dad said to me this week, Jed was a good guest. I went, yeah, Jed was a great guest. And he said it was funny how we got more scouts throughout the call. And I was like, yeah, it's true, yeah. By the end of the call, he's like, yours are yous. And Jed said Terry Mackin in 78 against Spurs at Anfield. He said he was there and it was tremendous. I'm really looking forward to getting Jed back on, because we're going to take a bit of time to talk about Liverpool in the 70s and 80s.
Nice.
Which would be really interesting. A couple of my favourites, and I think maybe one or two of these I've mentioned on the pod before, but 2007, Liverpool were playing Everton at Goodison Park, and I was in the family enclosure in the Everton section with my mate Alex, and it was late on, with about 10 minutes to go. Rafa Benitez pulled Gerrard off, which got like a huge cheer from the Everton fans, and on came Lucas Leiva, who played as a number 10, and the ball drops to him on the edge of the box and he whips it like a volley whip, and Phil Neville handballs it on the line, red card, penalty. Dirk Kuyt steps up and scores the last kick of the game. He buries it in the bottom corner. Liverpool win the game 2-1. In fact, the ball went up the other end and Everton should have been given a penalty. Jamie Carragher definitely fouled Julian Lescott. Definite penalty, 100%. Never seen a more bang-on penalty.
It's bringing back memories.
They never got it. So that
I can remember Gerrard getting hooked and thinking, what the hell? What?
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Like, Gerrard never got pulled, did he, in a big game? But hey, look, Rafa changed the game and it worked.
Can't argue with Rafa.
You can't argue with Rafa. Although he did once at Birmingham away, he took Torres off when we were desperate for a goal. He hooked Torres and he put Engog on. And I remember the shot of Gerrard looking over at the bench at Rafa, just absolutely devastated. He took Torres off. I think the Reds went on to lose that game 1-0. A game which my mate John from Canberra mentioned, the 3-2 win against Manchester City. Coutinho scored a last-minute winner at Anfield in that game, which was I was in the pub for that one, and it just went absolutely bonkers. And that was the game we all thought we were definitely going to win the league in that year, in 2014.
Yep.
Jordan Henderson got sent off in that game right at the end, and I think he got a 3-match ban for a straight red card. And I think maybe if Jordan didn't get sent off in that game, we would have been better suited for the games ahead, for sure. Especially that Crystal Palace game. It would have been better with Jordan Henderson in there. Coutinho as well. The Europa League. Coutinho scored the little dink, which was absolutely unbelievable, at Old Trafford. He scored an absolute screamer in a game I was at against Southampton. He was like 35 yards out, couple of minutes in, under Brendan Rodgers. He comes in, he cuts on his right foot, and he just absolutely fucking cracks this ball, crossbarring in. Just classic Phil Coutinho. The Peter Crouch Champions League goal.
Bicycle?
Bicycle kick, overhead bicycle kick against Galatasaray.
Yep.
Unbelievable goal. Really good goal. Really good goal.
And could he do it again? Yeah, he could.
Yeah, he did against someone in the league, didn't he? Who did he score against in the league?
It wasn't as good as the Galatasaray goal, though.
No, but it was good, wasn't it? Bolton. It was Bolton. Bolton Wanderers, yeah, it was. I'm sure of it. 'Cause they were wearing white. And it weren't Real Madrid, so it must have been Bolton. All right, what about goals that have gone against us, mate? What stands out?
One that stands out is that fucking Darren Bent beach ball goal.
Oh shit! Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Where we lost 1-0, and like the goal stood because the referee thought it took a deflection off a player. And to make things worse, they chalked the goal off Darren Bent after the game, but the result still stood.
Did he take it off Darren Bent?
Yeah.
Who did they give it to? Who did they give the goal to?
Probably the beach ball.
Bloody hell, fucking beach ball. And that's Liverpool for you, isn't it? Throwing a beach ball on the pitch.
Yep. Even that Henry goal back in 2004 when he was on fire, he picks up the ball sort of like halfway, gets past Haman, puts Carragher on his ass.
Yeah.
I think even one more player, might be Biscan, and he just slots it wide, and you just think, oh, that's just class. Like you just sit there and applaud.
It was class, right? It was class. But it was one of them goals, like, if no one moved, he doesn't score. Like, there was that many white shirts there.
Yeah.
That there's no way he could have got past them all. But
he did.
Unbelievable. Thierry Henry, man. What a player.
Phil, was it Jagielka? I don't know how you say his name. Jagielka?
Jagielka, yeah.
Yeah, he scores that stupid screamer to win the game.
Yeah,
I bet you couldn't do it again. So like, those
yeah.
games just stick in my mind because it just annoys the crap out of you. And like one in, I think it's '04, Liverpool playing Newcastle. I think it's their left midfielder scores an absolute screamer. He had a massive boot on him. My mate Gilly, he's a mad Newcastle supporter. That's why I probably remember it. I think it someone Robert, Lauren Robert.
Lauren Rebecca, yeah. God, I
He
haven't
could
heard that name in a while.
he could hit them, but they'll be half of them will be most of the time like wayward. But when it's stuck,
Mm,
it's stuck, and yeah, they beat us that game. And obviously Kiev final
yeah,
for so
yeah,
many wrong reasons.
yeah. The Kiev final. I mean, Carey is throwing the ball and Benzema cutting it out.
Well, the assist for Benzema.
The assist, yeah, yeah. Um,
You get the Salah injury.
yeah.
Like, it just wasn't our day.
The Salah injury. The,
And then,
I
but
mean, Gareth Bale scores one of the best goals you will ever see.
yeah,
One of the best goals you will ever see
and it's Bale, so you
it
just
was unbelievable.
if it was Ronaldo, it
Yeah,
would have pissed me off.
he's
But it was because it was Bale, it was just like, yeah, fair enough.
yeah.
I
I think
accept
that
that.
does. I think that does add to the level of annoyance. Is that I really quite liked Gareth Bale.
Yeah, so did
um,
I.
he has a pop shot, doesn't he, from 40 yards or something stupid, and
Thing, yeah, Karius gives
Karius
him the assist.
drops it in the goal. 2 assists in the Champions League final. So they were hard, and you know what as well. Dwight Gale, in 2014, in that game that they call Cristamble. Dwight Gale broke our heart in that game.
Yep.
I think he scored the equaliser for 3-3 late on. And I got a message from Man United fans as well who wanted to remind us of the Forlan goal when Yeti Dudek dropped the ball late on through his legs
Yep.
and Forlan tapped it in. Which was heartbreaking. I can't remember what year that must have been 2002 ish. I
Yeah.
reckon 2002, 2003.
Because then he went to Atletico Madrid and carved up for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was amazing, wasn't he? He was amazing.
Mm.
And I remember it because he did that celebration where he took his shirt off and he went mad. And then
Yep.
a game I took Jack to. It was one of Jack's first games, I think. I took Jack to Anfield to watch Liverpool Man United, and John O'Shea scored a last minute winner. Like, last minute winner. It was just shit. It was just absolutely shit. Well, all right. Well, let's end on a good one then. Let's end on a good one. A nice, memorable moment. Go on, I'll let you throw one out. You must have another one to mention.
A good moment.
Yeah.
It all
Come
comes
on,
back
there's
to.
plenty of good moments.
I say,
I tell you, all right.
It all just comes back to Istanbul.
It comes back to Istanbul. All right, I tell you what then. The greatest goal in Liverpool's history was not a goal at all. It was our goalkeeper saving Shevchenko's penalty. Arguably.
Or
Yeah, topped.
Or was it Shevchenko in the last minute where he saves on the goal line? That point blank save?
Yeah, in extra time.
And he's just nodding his head like, yep, we've won this.
Yeah, Yeti. What a legend, lad. I love it. I love a bit of Yeti do that. I've got something a bit different for you this week as well, Max, which we'll finish on. Before we do finish on this, we mentioned last week that I was trying to get through to Wrexham to see if we could interview Paul Mullen, the
Yep.
Wrexham striker, who's a Liverpool fan and a Scouser. It turns out we can't
Huh.
because Paul Mullen signed for Wigan today, so he doesn't play for Wrexham anymore. So, well. It was worth a try. Max,
Where's Rafa's fun fact?
I haven't got one this week. I've got something different.
Oh, I was looking forward to it, actually.
All right. Well, this week instead, we've got a quiz.
Okay.
I don't. Have you got a pen and paper? Have you got a pen and paper?
No. I've got an iPad.
Yeah, go on. Write it on the iPad. So this is I'm just basically gonna surprise guests all the time. Sometimes we're gonna have a Rafa's it's a fact. It's a fact.
Yep.
And other times I'm gonna do like a bit of a trivia. So what I'll do is I'm gonna read out the question, write it down, and then we'll do all the questions. We'll do 5 questions, and then at the end we'll do the answers, and we'll see how many Max gets right, and then people can play along at home. How's that sound,
Righto.
Max? Are you
Let's
ready for
go.
the first question?
Yep.
In 1923... No, I'm only joking. That would be outrageous. Question number 1. Question number 1. Who was Liverpool's top goal scorer in all competitions during the 95-96 season, finishing with 36 goals?
Did you say which Liverpool player?
I'm drinking a nice bottle of Heineken. All right, question number 2. In which season did Liverpool first wear Nike kits after ending their deal with New Balance? In which season did Liverpool first wear Nike kits after ending their deal with New Balance? Max thinking hard. Oh God, he's thinking. He's thinking of players. He's thinking of players in the kits. All right then. Here's one for you. Number 3. Which player scored Liverpool's final penalty in the 2005 Champions League shootout before Yeti Dudek saved the divisive spot kick? It's not divisive, it's decisive. But I am dyslexic, so... So basically, who scored the penalty before Yeti Dudek saved Shevchenko's penalty is the question. Think on, people. Write your answers down. Question number 4. Who were Liverpool's opponents in Jurgen Klopp's first game in charge? And what was the result? You only get 1 point. 1 point. You've got to get both for a point. I remember this game because I was in London with my ex and we were meant to be doing a day shopping, and I think it was a 12 o'clock kickoff, so I based my whole day around finding a pub that I could watch the game in. True story.
Okay.
All right, number 5. What squad number did Harry Kewell wear during his time at Liverpool? Harry Kewell, he was on Liverpool Australia Legends last week. We were talking about it with Wayne. Right, let's wrap up these questions then. Let's do the answers, and then we'll go off into the abyss of the night. Question number 1, Max. Who was Liverpool's top goal scorer in all competitions during the 95-96 season with 36 goals?
I didn't have an answer.
Well, go on, have a guess. Have a guess.
Fowler.
It was Robbie Fowler, yeah, well done. It was.
I don't know why. I thought you
Brilliant.
might have said top scorer of that season. I just had Shearer.
No, Liverpool's top scorer. So you get
Yep.
Robbie Fowler, well done. Number 2, in which season did Liverpool wear Nike kits after ending their deal with New Balance, Max?
2017.
It was 2020-2021 season. So we just won the league. We just won the league.
Jeez.
Because I think they had that like green collar. Dead smart.
I was just thinking of Philip Coutinho. That's all I was trying to think of.
Oh, he was long gone at this point. Long
Yep.
gone. He was off in Barcelona sitting on the bench. Number 3, which player scored Liverpool's final penalty in the 2005 Champions League final shootout before Wirtz saved the decisive spot kick?
That's Cisse.
It was trivial. Cisse. Well done, Max. Very good, mate. Tell you what. He's not doing bad. Number 4, who were Liverpool's opponents in Jurgen Klopp's first game in charge, and what was the result?
I'm pretty sure I got this wrong. I said Crystal Palace and we had a draw.
Well, it was Tottenham Hotspur away, and it was a 0-0 draw. And you know what? I remember it because all the pundits were talking really excitedly because Liverpool ran like 30,000 kilometres in the game or something outrageous, and they were like, it's the Klopp effect. Anyway, it was a 0-0 draw. I think everyone in Australia will get this one. Yeah, well, yeah. But you know what? It was better than the week before. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking it was better than last week. And question number 5, what squad number did Harry Kewell wear during his time at Liverpool, Max?
Number 7.
It was, of course, number 7, Harry Kewell. That was the quiz. Max, you got 1, 2... You got 3 out of 5. That's not bad, mate.
Should be 5 out of 5.
I know, but don't be too disappointed. At least when you're getting the kids ready for school tomorrow, you can sound like not a complete loser, can't you? Which is pretty good. It's a nice start. All right, well look, sorry mate. Max, I think we're pretty much done, mate. I think we've covered pretty much everything we wanted to get done tonight. Thanks so much for coming on, mate. How was it? Would you come on again?
Yeah, I'll come on again. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Go on then. All right then. We'll have you back on. Thanks to everyone for watching. Obviously, the season, we're still waiting for the season to start. So we're sort of here now, basically just keeping ourselves entertained. So thanks for coming along, and we'll do our best to keep you entertained as well. Have a look at us on social media. We've got Instagram, Facebook. We put content up all the time on there, and we'll continue to make podcasts and content right through up until the start of the season. Max, once again, mate, thanks very much, and to everyone at home, have a proper boss week.
This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the